Hello and welcome to the TNC podcast, episode 5. Once again, it's just me, but I do actually have a co-host this time. You may know him as he was in a previous episode as a guest, and it is Perrin.
Hello, I am back once again. I'm
Yes, he is.
I'm back and better than ever, except I'm not really because I'm recovering from a cold. So my voice is lower, and apologies if I hack up along in the middle of an episode. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
So if you start coughing your guts up, then
Yes.
apologies in advance.
Yeah.
But uh, but yeah. So to first get on, I want to get some updates in regards to what's going on with the other two hosts. Obviously, as many of you know, it's Thanksgiving season, and actually today is Black Friday as well. So obviously, a lot of the hosts that are in America will not be as available as usual. So what our plan is hopefully next week we will have our ordinary roster. But if not, then we'll likely just skip that episode, as we don't want to keep just filling the space with just random people. Though Perrin is not a random person.
I am no random background character. I am the main character.
Yeah, he is Saul in this situation in Better Call Saul.
I'm on my Joker arc.
Yeah. I just imagine that meme where it's like the Joker like burning like the money, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not about the money, it's about sending a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely something I would do as a poor college student is burn money, unironically.
Yeah, I can imagine that, just torch a ton of money.
Definitely don't need that for anything important later on.
No. Don't need it.
Alrighty.
All it is about sending the message. Anyway, obviously as well, since I'm not Micah and he isn't here, we can't also give you the stats or anything else in regards to that. But hopefully, millions upon millions of people have watched the podcast, and that will be worth more than Joe Rogan's podcast.
Nice. We're better than
So-
Joe Rogan, right? Can we get sued for that? Probably not.
If so, then sue Perrin
It's,
or me.
'cause
Don't
it's
sue
a
the
matter of
podcast.
opinion. I don't think it can fall under slander. Okay, I gotta say, in my opinion, this podcast is better than Joe Rogan. Make that explicitly
Yeah.
clear. Now we cannot get
Yeah.
sued. Because a matter of
Yeah.
opinion. We are not passing it off as fact. Therefore, it is not slander. Therefore, we cannot get sued for it, as far as I know. Don't know how.
Yeah.
Don't know how slander laws are covered in the UK, but at the very least, as far as I can tell, I am safe from lawsuits with that disclaimer in the US, at the very least. Nice.
Maybe you are Saul.
Maybe
that,
I
that was
am.
full on lawyer right there.
Man, maybe I should be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
But
it'd make me more money than being a graphic designer, that's for sure.
yeah.
Well,
Especially if you become a friend of the cartel, as Saul
I don't think I can say that.
is. By the way, we're not actually
This
friends
is
of the
not.
cartel.
This
Just
is
wanna
not
make
an
that clear. Do not
admission
sue
of
us.
guilt. I am not involved with any cartels. Let the record formally
In my
show.
opinion, he is not. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we're gonna move on, or else we'll be going on and on about random stuff. So, interesting stuff we're up to. Would you like to start?
All right. So the only main thing I can think of is all the stuff I'm doing for my drawing 2 class at school. So we've gone through a bunch of different like styles and eras of art. So we first off we started with like a perspective drawing. So I did a really nice like drawing with like Sharpie and ink wash and charcoal. That was of a building on my campus at a fun angle. So that was pretty fun. And then I recreated is it John Goddard? I don't remember his first name, but Goddard is a realist painter.
I think
It might be
so,
John
yeah.
Goddard. Yeah, I did the painting
Something like that, yeah.
Reverie.
I'm not well versed in art.
Yeah,
But
so
I think that's it.
so we had to recreate that a painting of his in charcoal, and then we had to take that and do it again, but in the Cubist style, and that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. So, and then we did, most recently we did surrealism. So I made a really fun piece with like a cactus with boxing gloves in the desert as the sun is rising. I thought it
Oh
was, I
yeah,
thought
I
it
mind
was, it
seeing
was
that.
very
Yeah.
dramatic and over the top. I had a bunch of, I had a bunch of more like sillier ideas. I wanted to do a shrimp in a mug, but shrimp are very hard to draw. But it's the thought that counts, just because of all the shrimp jokes I make.
Yeah. Well, you
But
are the certified shrimp,
yes,
you know,
yes,
expert.
I am a shrimp expert. Oh, and I made for an assignment we had to do a mural out of painter's tape. So I teamed up with a classmate and we made a mural based on a building in Boston called the Jenga Building. And we got the best grade in the class on it. I think I just sent it to the chat. I had so much
Oh
fun working
yeah,
on
I
this.
mind
It's
this.
awesome. Loved it.
Yeah,
So
that is amazing.
I'm pretty sure we got the best grade out of all the murals in the class. And it's gigantic too.
Nice.
It's like 11 feet wide and 7 feet tall. It's
That is
it took like
insane.
6 hours to make across 2 days. It was it was very fun though. Had a very good time
Yeah.
making it.
It.
Came out
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's very proud of that. And
Hmm.
oh, and my work, some of the work I've done in the class, everyone in the class is supposed to submit some pieces to the school art magazine. So a couple of my pieces, along with pieces of my classmates, are gonna get featured in the art magazine when it comes out in the spring, I believe. So that's
Hmm.
exciting. It's always fun to have your work published, even doesn't matter. I don't care what medium or like how good it is even. It's always like feels good to have it published or showcased somewhere, I think.
Yeah. I almost, when I was in college, I almost had uh, a Christmas card printed out
Mm,
that was going to get sent to everyone in the college. Basically, it was a contest where you had to design a Christmas card, and then
mm.
the best one gets it printed to everyone, and then also you get like I think it was like 500 quid or
Oh
something, or
wow.
you got like a laptop or something. I can't remember what it was now. So I made one. I don't know if I have the file still. I'd have to dig around and try and find it, and also then censor the college because then you could probably find where I live. So I
Yeah.
don't want to dox myself. Uh, but I would, I thought mine was really good. I mean, I'm no narcissist, but
Yeah.
mine was pretty. It was pretty good,
Yeah.
and I thought I was like, oh, I've got this in the bag kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then I find out the one that won was like the most basic thing ever. It looks like it was
Yeah.
made in
I feel like
like
that
it
always
looked like it was.
I feel like
I don't
that
know what
always
like.
happens when you do like a contest like that. I don't it feels like the most basic entries usually lose to the ones that have the most creativity put into them. It's kind of
Yeah,
sad. I
yeah, because I think what mine was, it was like a
yeah.
pattern. So basically, it was like using triangles. So you'd have a
Ooh.
big triangle that would be like for the top part of like a Christmas tree, and then the bottom part would also be a smaller triangle to be like the base, like
Yeah.
the trunk, and then it would be made into like a pattern kind of
That's
idea,
really cool.
and then yeah, and then the colors of all the trees would be the colors of the college logo.
That's
'Cause I
really
think it was
smart.
like green, blue, and light blue. I hope that's
Okay.
not someone that's gonna get me doxxed. Like someone could probably look up that logo now, but
Yeah.
we'll I should be fine. They have tons of different colleges with that logo, so you have to go around to each college and then ask. Was there a guy called Sean that like worked that used to go here? So I think I should be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I almost won. Didn't
I
win,
think
and I'm
the
very salty about it.
I think the inverse of that, where you have like really creative entries get thrown out, is like if it's an internet poll or like the internet decides, it's always the goofiest one, and I think that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah,
there's that drawing a dog contest, and the one with like the goofy perspective and the weird leg, but with the goofy looking face. That one won. Do you know about that?
yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I think I
I
can
think I
find the
mind that.
link.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
Twitter
Have you
poll.
watched that Internet Historian video?
I
That's
don't
about
think so.
like
I don't.
polls.
This guy. This guy. I found it on Google. I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick. Hopefully it embeds. I don't think it
All right.
embedded.
This better not
That
be
guy.
this better not be like
Don't worry about it.
someone that's gotta get
Yeah, it did.
redirect notice. It's even warning me about the redirect. It's really trying.
It's just a Google. This guy. That's a perfect example. Also, that I voted sticker that 12-year-old made. I don't know if you've heard of that. Have you heard of that story?
I think
This
I might
guy.
have.
It's like a terrifying spider, like purple and teal spider creature, and it says "I voted," and it was the internet decided it was the best voting sticker that they could have gone with. It's amazing.
Oh my god! Here we go. Right, come
It's
on.
beautiful. I gotta maybe that.
Oh,
I keep putting links and none of them are embedding. Dang it.
I know. I've got it here. Yeah.
There.
I've
Okay,
got
that
it.
one embedded. I
That
think.
is. Yeah, it did. Oh my god, that
Man.
is. That's a work of art.
That
Yeah,
this
the
kind of thing
poll.
makes up for like all of those instances where like creativity doesn't win in contests. This makes up for it when the internet does
Mhm.
goes with like completely lifts up and celebrates stuff that's goofy and off the wall and sometimes existentially horrifying just for the memes. It's great. Love it.
Uh-huh.
Makes me feel
I
better about the world just a little.
yeah.
Warms my cold dead
I
heart.
remember. Yeah. I remember. Like I said, have you watched? There's like an internet historian video, and I think it's the one like "Any poll is a goal" or something like that. I can't remember the title, but like it's one of the things he mentions was like a Taylor Swift contest. So the
Yeah.
idea was people could vote for their school to have Taylor Swift come and perform at their school,
Yeah.
and the internet being the internet, they all voted for a school for the deaf.
That's wow.
So
That's
um,
a little bit too much violation, not enough benign.
yeah, that was a bit malicious.
That's a
But
little
to be fair to
That's a
Taylor,
little humor theory
to be
reference that I imagine
yeah,
will be completely lost on on our audience of 4 people.
yeah, I do. I think if I remember correctly, though, she did like actually go and just like donate money
Oh,
to
that's
them.
awesome.
So she actually
Okay,
kind of made it like
that made up
a
for
good
it.
thing.
That makes
So
up for it.
yeah,
That's cool.
so
Shout out
happy
to Taylor
ending.
Swift for like turning it around. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Love to see it.
but that's yeah. Uh, so I'll guess I'll move on to what I'm working on. So if you're following at all on
Yes.
any social media platforms, you may have seen I finally have shared a new illustration after like a million years. But it's not so new. I've somewhat tricked you all as it's actually an old design that I've redone. It's a design I did all the way back in, I think it was like March of 2018. So about
wow.
4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just shows me how old I am. So, but it's a design called, I think it's Erupting Volcano was the original title,
Yeah.
and it's the most. Oh, it's just. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's like, it's basic as. But I've went and redone it now, and I mean, depending on what you think about it, if you've seen I thought it's better.
I
I
think
hope.
so. I'd say definitely so.
Yeah. So
Decidedly
that's my.
better.
It's mildly better.
Yeah.
But I've went and I'm also going to be hopefully no promises, but I'm hopefully going to be doing more of them as well. So hopefully I'll be able to redo a lot of my old designs.
Very
that,
cool.
I mean, like a lot, because like a lot of the old ones I did were like good ideas, but a lot of the execution just isn't there. Like
Yeah.
there's one that's like pyramids, and it's meant to be like this desert scene, but like the colors and the actual composition is all it's all whack. It's not right. Like
Yeah.
the sky is just makes no sense, and it's horrible.
That's
but hopefully
that's the kind of thing that comes with experience is the ideas are there, but the execution isn't quite there. But
yeah,
the longer you're involved with design or art or really anything, the more time you have to like see where things go wrong before you finish and to fix it as you go until it's just about as good as it can be, you know? You have to it takes a long time to develop the eye for it, but once you have it, you'll see it faster and it'll make creating new pieces a lot easier, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why, but I wish we had like a soundboard because I was wanting to just play that. Like that sound where like when you say "the more you know" and it has the little dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that. But yeah, that's actually good advice. So, but yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing I was thinking of. I don't know where that's
I keep
from,
forgetting.
but it must be like must be like an educational.
Yeah, it's very
like,
90s.
show or something.
Very late
It is.
90s.
That's like the 90s, just like, full on,
Yeah.
But all right,
Ooh,
interesting stuff.
I think I had an idea for a project in the future where I'm planning on it. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. I'm gonna try to I might actually share a project on Scratch where I'm gonna be going over like all the designs and stuff I've made over the last year, and for example, all the little changes I've made to previous stuff, like all my my NAFA Football League project, like all the team updates I've done over the year, in the last year, and how things have changed just a little bit. To just go over everything I've done in the year, I think it'd be nice, towards New Year's Eve or so, just to go over everything I've done and see how I've improved in the last year. I think that'd be a good idea. Who knows if I'll actually make it? Because I considered doing something like this last year. It did not happen. But
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
We'll see. I don't know, because I'm hoping to share an hour project myself, but I don't know if I'll actually have the time nor the energy to do it in the end. But yeah,
it might be something a lot.
You see, yeah.
It might be something a lot simpler,
Sorry?
where it's just these are the new logos I made, and that's it. Who knows? I want to get something out. Yeah.
Yeah. See, you had a good opportunity there. You could have plugged your Scratch or anything else right there.
Who is actually gonna go and find my Scratch? Let's be real.
Who knows? You never know.
I guess that's fair. You can find me at Scratch at Perrin, but the I is an L. the I is an L because Perrin was taken.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
But
old reliable.
Yep. That's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So we're gonna retread a little bit of what we talked about last week, mainly because Perrin, like me, has Affinity V2 or a trial of it.
Yes, I have the trial.
Because you're broke.
Well, it's not that I'm broke so much as it is. I can't commit to paying $100 at the moment.
That just sounds like a fancy way of saying you're broke.
It kind of is, but don't worry about it.
At least there's honesty there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a fan. I like the redesigned UI a lot. I'm a huge fan of how it's looking.
Yeah, I actually was going to say about the new UI because I've been using it a bit more now. And I find it so much easier to distinguish tools than I used to.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed is Affinity V2 has kind of messed up a couple of things I've done in the past, like in Affinity V1. Like some curves, it just, using the corner rounding tool, it just, when I put them into Affinity V2, it makes the curve, it's not as round, you know? You know how you slide it and it makes the circle bigger? It stops, in the middle, and it stays put, and it locks in place, and that's as far, as big as you can make it, and it makes curves that should be, really flat, have, bumps in them, and it looks weird. So, for example, the football uniform template I use doesn't really work in Affinity V2 at all, which is a bit frustrating. That's, the only thing I've noticed that I dislike, but it's a bit disappointing to see.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just a bug and it'll get fixed,
I imagine, I'm sure I'm not the only person out there with this problem, which means it's the kind of thing that Affinity is going to fix down the line, but I can see myself mostly using Affinity 1 for the most part because of stuff like this, at least for the time being. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, another thing is it doesn't save my assets that I have saved in my assets folder, which I'm not, which I have a lot of. If there's anything at all that I like save for later or want to like move to a different file, I throw it into my assets folder. And so I have like I think 1,000 things in my assets folder. It's insane, but it
Yeah, I've
doesn't.
seen it.
It
It's
doesn't. It
ridiculous.
does not translate to my to Affinity V2, which is a little bit frustrating. So I have to if I can fortunately copy and paste stuff, but again, if I'm going from Affinity V1 to V2, there's no guarantee it's going to come out the same because of the curve issues, which
Yeah.
isn't great. However,
Uh,
that's not to say I definitely do like Affinity V2. I am very excited about the warp features. It's a little bit it takes a little bit to get used to, but I'm very excited about it. I've like the amount of like text I've arched by hand is I cannot even explain to you. It is very difficult and tedious to arch text by hand. I never need to do it again. I am so excited about this. I can
yeah,
just
Shape Builder is
warp it.
amazing.
Yes, Shape Builder is awesome. I'm so glad. I said to myself like a year ago, I think I was talking to the dean of the graphic design department at my school, and I said the only like two features I can think of that I wish Affinity would add is free warping and the shape builder tool, and they added both of those. Those are the exact two features I wanted. So I'm very very happy about that. The knife tool is also really cool. I think it's
Uh huh.
convenient. I think it's gonna do. I haven't used it much yet, but I think it's gonna be really cool for like a lot of like text effects. I can see me doing like
Yeah,
fancy things with
that's what I'm thinking
typography,
too.
but
Yeah.
I'll definitely be using that to some
Mm.
extent. So that's really cool. What else did they add?
Yeah.
I forgot what
Uh,
else they added. Oh,
I think.
the what they call it? The style copying thing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know what they
that's really
call it, but I know
cool.
what you're talking about.
Where
Yeah.
you can copy any like effects and colors and whatever onto a different shape with a single click. That's really good. That's gonna
That is
save
really good.
that's gonna save designers so much time, which is exactly what like that's the kind of features designers want. Is it's not necessarily like new stuff, it's the ability to do the same stuff faster and more efficiently. That's
Hmm.
my main problem with Illustrator because I'm learning Illustrator too, because of school and also because I kind of have to because it's the industry standard. Is I can do just about the same stuff I can in Affinity, but it's so much slower. It's more difficult to find what I need, and everything takes like on average two more clicks than Affinity, and it's frustrating to me when I know what I want to do, and and I normally know how to do it, but I can't because of the limitations of the software I'm using, and it's ruining. It's making my experience worse, even though it's technically not the product's fault. Just by comparison, it feels worse, you know?
Uh huh. I think like the biggest thing, not a big thing, but like the small change that they made was like you know how on Affinity V1, if you're using the color wheel, like
Yeah.
me, a pleb who uses the color wheel, you can't have the hex color, like the hex code come
Oh.
up. You had to
Oh
go
yeah.
select and then change it to like the sliders to get it, which was
Yeah.
really annoying in my opinion. They added it finally on the color wheel in
Yeah.
V2, which is like it's already saved me so much time.
I'm sure. I didn't even notice this until like a month ago. This is kind of unrelated. This is a feature that's in Affinity V1, but I didn't realize if you double click, where it's got the fill and stroke lines in the color section, the little
Uh-huh.
circles. If you double click on it, it's gonna show you like all the information, so the RGB and the HSL and the CMYK and hex code values of the color. I did not know that, and for a long time I was using a website. I think it's colorpicker.com to like pick out the colors for me, just so I could like include them in a project. And I didn't realize that I could have cut out the middleman and saved myself 15 minutes this whole time. I could have just been double clicking instead of going to a completely different website. Man.
We're professional designers.
Yes. I do think it's fun.
They're not.
I do think it's fun that even after almost, I think it's 4 years of using Affinity now. I think I've been using Affinity for 4 years. I'm still learning new things, which is cool. It's a
Yeah.
very, very rich program. There's always more tools and like shortcuts to discover, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
this
remember.
the same thing for Illustrator, but
Mhm.
I don't like
Yeah.
Illustrator, so
Yeah, it's not. I'm not a fan of it either. I remember actually, like where the slider is to change transparency. I didn't
yeah.
realize if you click the little circle next to it, it changes it to like the noise slider. I did not know
I
that. So
just
for
found that
ages,
out
I
like
didn't
two
know how
weeks
to add
ago.
noise.
Yeah, I just discovered that. I did accidentally, and I got confused as to where my opacity went, and then I was able to fix it, but like I did not know that either.
Yeah, and it blew my mind. Like my third eye opened. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, this saves me so much time." Because I think before I was like going into like when you make a gradient and like you go into like the context menu and it gives you the slider there. That's what I was doing. So I had to change the noise twice on both like colors or whatever to make it look right. And it was like, oh my god, I was wasting so much time on that when I could have just pressed one button and then been able to add it a lot faster.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah. Well, another thing that's quite good with like Affinity, especially compared to Adobe, is price. Because
Yes.
now there's the universal license
Yes.
thing, which I got, and like you get everything. So basically, if
Yes.
I was
That's
to own a
awesome.
Mac, you can.
I was
That is.
talking to a professional designer at my church, and he like I think he's like the manager. He's like the head of design at like a company or something. And so I don't know, like head of design, but part of his job is to give the designers working for him all their tools and stuff. And so I was telling him about how Affinity's got full universal license for $100. Like you get direct competitors for Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign in one package. You pay $100 once and you get it on all platforms. And he was incredibly impressed. And he's been Team Adobe his entire life. Like he knows Adobe isn't the greatest company in my opinion. In my opinion, do not sue me, Adobe. he
Yeah, don't
knows
sue,
he know
please.
yeah. He's not the biggest fan of Adobe as a company, but he's always
Hmm.
been like a huge fan of Adobe products, and that appeared to get him to change his mind just a little bit. So I think that is huge. If that's like a game changer in my opinion, is this like Affinity's proving that like the decisions they are making them more and more of a direct competitor to Adobe, which I'm a huge fan of. And it's proving that
Yeah.
like they're legitimate. They're like a legitimate superpower in the industry, which is great because it's a smaller company. It's not a massive, corporation that like buys out their competitors routinely. Which
Uh
so
huh.
you know I'm all for
Yeah.
that. So
Uh huh.
good job on Affinity.
Cause I. Yeah. Cause I remember. I think I may mention this in a previous episode, but like Serif, who makes Affinity,
Yeah,
they're like from like they're like a pretty old company. I think they've
yeah,
been doing this since like the 80s, so it's not like they know what they're
they know
doing,
what they're
kind of
doing.
thing. Yeah, I'm hoping like in the future they'll actually make more programs to compete
Yeah,
with Adobe.
I
Like
believe
maybe
they're
like
making. I forget where I saw this. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I don't know if I'm correct. If I recall correctly, they're making a video editing software, which I believe is supposed to be in competition with, I believe, Adobe Premiere. I think.
yeah, yeah, Premiere's Adobe's video editing software. If that's true and it does come out, that would be huge because like pretty much everyone online in that edits with
Yeah.
that, a Premiere. So to have a direct like competitor that's just as good, that would be
Hmm.
huge. especially because I don't know what your experiences have been with Adobe, but I find Adobe
Yeah.
software runs a lot worse than
Yes.
any Affinity product. Because
Yeah.
Affinity is just buttery smooth.
Affinity,
and I've
like,
had so many
uses
problems with Adobe.
Affinity uses a bunch of like power on my computer, but it's never laggy and it never like freezes other stuff I have going on my computer.
Yeah,
You know, Illustrator and
yeah,
Photoshop, especially if I have both open, completely tank my computer. It's insane.
yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely absurd how like much it completely like siphons
Yeah,
the energy out of my computer.
yeah. It gives Google Chrome a run for its money. It's actually
I mean,
insane.
I wouldn't know. I'm
Like,
Safari gang for life.
yeah,
Which is
I'm
not the
Firefox
flex.
gang for life.
Which is not
So
the flex I think it is. I know.
no, what a nerd using Safari. I mean, I think Safari. I mean, I can't really say because I've never owned a Mac.
Yeah.
I do own an iPad, so like I do use the mobile version of Safari, and
Yeah.
it's fine. But like,
I haven't.
you know,
I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of Safari on mobile, but like Safari on Mac is pretty smooth. I've tried Chrome a couple times because there's like a handful of sites that don't work on Safari but do work on Chrome just because Chrome's the biggest one, you know?
yeah,
And so when sites need to make stuff, work for an operating system or a browser, they just go for the most famous ones. So Safari's behind Firefox, right? It's like Chrome,
I,
then it's
I
Chrome, then
think I don't know with
Firefox,
some
then Safari, I believe.
browser market share. Let's find out. I don't know. I know obviously Google
Yeah.
Chrome's
Google
top.
Chrome's
Like
corner
it
market for
has
sure.
it dominates. It's a dominant one. It's huge how big of a market share it has.
Yeah.
So okay, so according to StatCounter, Chrome has 65% of the market.
Yikes.
Then Safari at
Oh,
19%.
yeah, okay.
Then Microsoft Edge at 4%.
Really?
Firefox is 3%. Then Samsung Internet, which is like the
I have never heard of that, not gonna lie.
Samsung Internet is basically the mobile browser for
Yeah.
Samsung.
That sounds-
So like my Note 9 for example has Samsung Internet. It's basically just a reskinned Google Chrome. It's like Edge or Opera. They're both just reskins of
Yeah.
Google Chrome
Nice.
kind of thing.
I would have guessed
We'll
Firefox
see.
was a lot more popular based on mostly just because of how much you've sung its praises, I suppose.
Hmm.
But
I think
it does seem like a very secure browser. I definitely trust it more than Chrome. If I was gonna switch
Yeah.
to another browser, I'd switch to Firefox, I think. But
yeah,
I think I'm good with Safari.
Yeah.
Safari is also very good at security. Like it prevents trackers on websites you visit from tracking your data, which I think is cool. I don't know if that's like the industry standard or whatever. I'm sure Firefox does something similar, but as far as I can tell, they do a very good job about keeping your information safe, which is
yeah.
a benefit of Apple, I think, in general.
Yeah, I would say in terms of privacy, I would put like Firefox to top because Mozilla is like a charity. It's not even
Oh,
a business,
really?
so they have no. Yeah, they're a registered charity.
I did not know that.
So
That's very cool.
yeah, yeah. So I'd say Firefox top for privacy, then Safari because Apple does have a somewhat decent track record with privacy compared to
Yeah.
the other
At
companies.
least compared to Google.
And then yeah, that's what I say. Then Google Chrome and all of its copycats
Yeah.
after that, pretty much. I'd put all of them in the bottom because even Brave browser, even though it says it's a privacy browser, you're still
Yeah.
basing your entire browser off of a Google product.
Yeah.
Like even if you're doing your best, it's still at its core Google Chrome. So, but who knows? Like, I think you can't really go wrong with browsers. Like in terms of performance, it's more now about features and privacy.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think what we'll do is we'll move on to the next subject, which is Twitter, because more stuff has been going on with that as always. It's more chaos. Any thoughts on that, Perrin?
I mean, again, I don't use Twitter very much, but it is incredibly hilarious to see how like how insane things have been. Like all the troll accounts that have taken advantage of Twitter Blue for verification. I think it's absolutely hilarious that like entire corporations have gotten their stocks tanked by a handful of tweets. And I do think it's funny that ultimately, as far as I can tell, it's Twitter who's liable for that. It's not the people behind the accounts. It's Twitter who's, you know, at risk of the lawsuit for letting this happen. So it really does seem to me like every single idea that Elon Musk has come up with for how to fix Twitter is making it worse and worse for him specifically, and is losing the company money at literally every step of the way. So I think it's hilarious as a non-Twitter user to just laugh at it at the sidelines, especially considering how Elon Musk is like bragging about how Twitter is like getting more and more like visitors and users every day, like the most in Twitter's history, and he's bragging about it. I saw a tweet that said something along the lines of, "Man, someone's standing in their yard while their house is burning down and thinking, man, I've never had this many guests before," as the crowd is gathering to watch their house burn.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that situation.
What's even worse about it, even though he does have the most amount of users in Twitter's history, they're not making as much money for him because there's not as much advertising.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
But just before we continue, we have one of our hosts has turned up, and that is Ethan. Hello.
Ahoy.
Hello
He is
there.
here, but he's
Yeah,
just not
that,
unmuted. We'll see what happens with that. But he is here, so hopefully
I can
he'll
hear him.
join
Wait,
us in
am
a
I
sec.
not-
He's here.
You
Am
can
I
hear
not
him?
I can
there?
hear him.
I must
hear
have
me?
been muted for some reason. One sec.
Yeah.
All right, I had you muted. I don't know why.
Sean, how dare you? Sean,
Uh,
how dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Sorry.
You're good. Okay, Okay, so with this whole Twitter thing, right? I'm gonna go more on the controversial side and say I actually think it's hilarious what he's doing.
Oh, he cut out.
Oh God.
That was perfect
I cut
timing
out.
because you're literally just about to say what you're gonna say and just like cut off.
Can't believe Discord is censoring him. SMH.
Yeah, can't believe this.
Yeah, so like I actually kind of think what he's doing is like hilarious.
It's hilarious in a kind of sad way,
Man,
I think.
Like I don't. I yes, like let me pull up Twitter. Okay, his Twitter page now is glorious. The Chief Twig has been making memes nonstop.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been seeing those, but I think the other day he posted a meme of like Twitter before and Twitter after, and the before was just like a few desks with people just napping, and then Twitter after was actually like a real office.
That's kind of ironic
workspace.
considering he fired like half the people on the
Yeah.
staff.
I think the funniest thing for me during that period was like if you read like the Verge articles, or I think other articles mentioned it too, was like when they say at the end we asked Twitter for comment, and then immediately afterwards to say they didn't respond back because there is no communications department anymore.
Yeah.
They were all fired.
That was
It's like I just found that really amusing.
Oh, and then right, he posted like a poll if he should reinstate Trump, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah, just
52%
not-
Yeah.
voted yes.
Despite him like saying
Yeah,
that
it's
decisions like that would go through a committee
it's-
too.
It's more like he's making a free speech platform have free speech instead
Yeah.
of being censored.
But at the
like
same time,
every other
he's
platform,
also
you know?
unbanning account just like as I was Googling Elon Musk to find his Twitter to look at the stuff you were talking about, I saw a headline from the Washington Post that says Musk will
Yeah.
restore Twitter accounts that were banned for harassment and misinformation. That sounds like free speech to me.
Like which ones?
I'm pretty sure it's an overarching statement. I don't know if it's referring to anyone any in particular.
Okay, because I'm like, I'm happy that he's unbanned like the Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
Those are they were hilarious. I mean, making fun of everything, like comedy at its peak. Like, oh, but you should see their videos on YouTube about like Californians moving to Texas. They're like hilarious. But like, that's I other people are just like, wow, this sucks, and I can't sit from the background laughing at
That's
the chaos.
me.
And like Twitter Blue is completely
Yeah.
removed. Like,
Actually, I've got
there's
some
no
news
more-
on that. I've got two bits of news on that. Firstly,
Aren't they-
when I go onto Twitter now, I have Twitter Blue. Like I have
Oh.
like the. So if I go to more and then go to Twitter Blue, I get like the pop up and it tells you like rocket to the top of replies and all the usual like stuff that you get.
Yeah.
And it says I can get the check mark, but I can only do it on the iOS app.
Oh.
So I went on my iPad to try it and see if it actually let me get it. No, it doesn't work. But
Oh.
but it's still
not there.
there.
Yeah,
it's still
it's,
like
like,
there on Twitter.
completely
Like
gone.
it must be still like set up. It's just
Isn't-
not like taking any new.
Isn't two-factor
Uh,
authentication gone?
because like I went to
Yeah.
go get
Didn't they?
I went to go get the check mark.
Didn't
Yeah.
And it, like completely gone.
yeah. Didn't two-factor
I don't think
didn't two-factor authentication get removed?
we just
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't removed.
That's right.
Basically, what happened?
I still
Yeah,
have it.
so it wasn't removed because basically what happened was he disabled a microservice that sent the codes
That's what it
to
was.
people's
yeah.
phones, wherever. Cause
So
you
it's
set it up, so
effectively
it will send like a
removed.
text. Effectively removed, but not technically
Yeah.
removed. It's just that he turned something off they shouldn't have turned it off.
was accidentally-
If
Basically,
it's technically removed and not, if it's technically not removed, that seems like the kind of thing Elon Musk would brag about and turn into a win somehow.
I thought it was quite funny because
Yeah.
there's people logged out of their accounts and couldn't get back in.
You
I just
know,
thought that was. Like I say,
That's
I'm in-
probably for the
you know.
best at this point. Probably for
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of Twitter Blue, it's coming back supposedly.
Mm.
Elon says he has plans to reinstate it. Initially, it was meant to be the 29th, I think, of this month, but he's now retracted that and said he's going to relaunch it once they figure out a way to stop the impersonation stuff, which I really hope they don't figure out because I really want to see more people impersonating accounts and just tanking.
Oh yeah, we really want to see more of the insulin.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like I'm British, so obviously I don't have the same like issues in that regard, but it was still hilarious to watch.
Oh yeah, like you totally get it for free.
It was
Yeah.
just amazing. And like I say, I hope to see more of that because there's also just other ones like people like impersonating Tesla and other people. It was
Yeah.
just, it was probably the greatest moment in Twitter history. It made Twitter enjoyable
Yeah.
for a wee while, you know?
Some of the best memes of the year was all the impersonation accounts from Twitter. Pure
Yeah.
art in its purest form,
Yeah.
for sure.
The other bit of news I thought I would share, just because we're kind of doing a bit of an update on what Twitter's going through right now, is we now have 2 check marks. So
Oh,
we have
yeah.
the blue check marks, and now there's another check mark that comes underneath some accounts that says official, which is basically
Very
the
cool.
actual real check mark now, basically saying this is actually the real company or person they say they are. So now we have a check mark that doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
and then we have a check mark that actually means something.
Which is the
So
same as
hopefully
the
it'll start-
initial purpose of the check mark.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then to compound it, of all the sites, Tumblr has made a joke where you can buy 2 check marks that mean absolutely nothing, but you just get them and they put you on your profile and you can stack them. So you can get
Perfect.
24 check marks.
That's
So-
amazing. Common
Seriously?
Yeah.
Tumblr W.
I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go.
I
try
don't
to
I don't
find-
use Tumblr, but like
I need to sign.
everything I
need to
hear
try and
about
find
Tumblr,
it.
everything I hear about Tumblr is hilarious, and I think it's great. I love how they have embraced their role as the most chaotic, like, And by chaotic, I mean
Yeah, here you
like,
go.
less like horrible social media, but like chaotic in a funny way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embracing the meme.
Embracing the meme. Yeah, that's kind of the statement I'm looking for.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So that's what
That's
that's what it
hilarious.
looks like. It's just that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I
I
say,
don't.
it's,
I don't understand
That's-
why
that really
Twitter
is
just
stacked.
doesn't
Like-
do. I don't understand why
Yeah.
Twitter doesn't just do something like Discord Nitro, where they have just a little badge on your profile. It doesn't need to be a check mark, per se. I don't understand
Yeah.
why it needs to be a check mark. I can see like having a little badge, but like making it the same as the verification check mark just causes all the problems that like they've had. Why not just do it something like Discord Nitro? It can have the exact same effect, just make it a completely different symbol, and don't call it verification, and it'd cause way less problems. It seems like such a simple solution, which I guess makes sense why Elon Musk didn't go with it, because it's actually smart.
yeah, who knows? But regardless, as someone who's like on the outside, because
Yeah.
as someone who has an account but barely uses it and only ever uses it to like check people, like I basically only ever check my timeline and that's it. I don't go to the hashtags or touch anything
Yeah,
else.
I only ever use it to look at Elon's tweets.
Yeah, I think that's what most. I think
so
that's what most
hilarious.
new people are doing. Is just like the main account just so they can keep up with what Elon's saying, just to watch the train wreck unfold. So,
and like the train wreck, but like also like he is actually smart.
Well.
Like, oh man, like
He's a lot less smart than he thinks he is, though. I think that's worth saying. He thinks he's a lot smarter than he is. He seems to have the attitude, at least to me, that anything he thinks of is golden, even if it's very much not, and people who disagree with him just don't get it. TM, you know? I get the feeling he's
yeah.
I get the
mean, like,
feeling he's a narcissist.
He's definitely like smarter in
Yeah,
some areas,
he's not-
right?
He's not stupid,
like,
for sure.
He's smarter in like space travel,
Yeah.
like like cars.
Well,
right?
granted, he isn't like
but, like,
doing any of the research
running-
or development for any of that. He's just throwing money at it. But like, he's a,
Yeah, because he's like the sole
yeah,
funder.
he's got
pretty
money.
much,
He's
you
got
know.
somewhat of a brain. Truly, one of the brains of all time is Elon Musk.
yeah, one of the billionaires of all time.
Yep.
We're talking about
Yeah.
Elon, right? Did you guys see the video on YouTube about some guy went to his house and gave him a resume, like to Elon's actual house in Texas?
That sounds a bit worrying for if I was Elon Musk.
Like,
if someone comes up to my house.
Did you guys see
I
that?
I didn't see that.
not,
No.
no.
Like, I am throwing that video in the chat because it was actually like kind of funny. Because security tracked him down and he's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And then this security guard's like, "I've been tailing you because we think you're doing something illegal."
Wow. Honestly, that's nuts. But I remember another one that there's this guy. I think it was. I can't remember what it was, a YouTuber. I can't remember who it was. But he like basically said he came up to this YouTuber during a convention or something and said, "Oh, I've just quit my like 100K job. Like I can make 100K a year at my job. I've just quit it because I want to work for you or something." And the guy's just like the guy's just sitting there like, it's just, it was the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it was like, why would you do that? Oh dear.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that when we're
Ooh.
finished here.
Speaking of delivering
it's
resumes.
actually hilarious.
Hey,
like,
I have a little story about speaking of delivering resumes. My brother went to a career fair a little while ago, and for that he wasn't actually able to bring it, but for that event he made a robot that had a little arm that would swing down, grab his resume from a stack of his resumes, whip it back out, and just hand it to people. And go back down and pick up another one and drive away. It was remote control. He wasn't able to bring it, but it was really cool. And he posted about it on LinkedIn. It was really cool. So yeah.
How old is
He's
your
20.
brother?
He's 2 years older than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. It's like if he's like
No.
a younger brother and he
Yeah.
do that, I'd be like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's actually just like he's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's making like all this.
Yeah, he's
It's
like
like-
3. He's still in
Yeah,
diapers, but don't worry about it.
He's
He-
basically Phineas.
he's
from
simply
Phineas
built
and Ferb,
different.
you know.
he's simply built
Oh, he's
different.
He is built different,
Yeah.
and he builds things that are different
Exactly, yeah.
too. That could be his catchphrase. That should be on his resume. That should be his like tagline.
Yeah,
I feel.
honestly.
I'm built different, so I build different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
built different, building different,
Yeah.
something like that.
Very cool.
But if
Very
your brother
catchy,
does
too.
use that, yeah. If your brother does use that, he has to credit me though,
Yeah.
and also pay me royalties
Yeah, I was
for
gonna
every
say
single
he's gotta
resume
pay
he
you.
hands out.
He's gotta like buy the license to use that catchphrase from you for like $20,000 or something.
Well, it'll have to be in pounds because I can't use dollars in the UK, but he can convert them before he sends it. But
Yeah.
you know, anyway, that's my idea. But you can't steal. Don't ever steal it unless you pay me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, it's not stealing
moving on
unless he
from-
pays you, is it? I mean, it's only stealing if he doesn't pay you. It's also
True.
only stealing if you don't sue him.
it's only stealing if you get caught.
Yeah.
That by the way, do not sue the podcast for
Yes,
that. By the way,
Tia-
that's my own in my opinion.
The New Creators does not endorse stealing or of any kind or any forms of breaking the law. And if you want to sue anyone, sue me
Yeah.
or my brother, I guess, theoretically. Or Sean. Sean? I forgot who's stealing from
uh,
who. Who's not stealing. No one's
Sean,
stealing
yeah.
anything. Don't sue us.
Okay, guys. The New Creators also does not condemn going to California and taking under $1,000 worth of stuff because they cannot do
Oh.
anything to you. Learn to that from working at
Interesting.
Walmart.
Still, don't sue.
Still,
Just don't sue us.
Don't
It's
sue
a
us.
Messed up place.
Don't get sued for anything.
Don't sue us.
Yeah.
I know Perrin told you to sue me a few episodes ago, but
Don't sue him
me, please.
unless you have a legitimate reason to do so.
I feel like this podcast is just turning into us pointing the finger at each other, just saying,
Yeah.
"Don't sue me, sue this guy, sue this guy."
It's like the Mexican
yeah, guys,
don't
don't sue us.
standoff from The Office.
It's like that meme with like the Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Yeah. It's the meme with the people in the church pews with the guns pointed at each other and the sniper from behind them. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, better move on from the Twitter chaos and on to sports. Since Perrin's here, I've given him some time just to talk about any sports-related
All
branding
right.
stuff or anything else, as he does like his
Yes.
his
Did
sports.
you do USU?
Huh?
You did you do USU?
What? I don't know what you mean. Oh, Utah State.
Did you redesign
No, I've.
the-
I don't want to say
Yeah.
I've abandoned that project, but I lost inspiration after like 6 teams. Not gonna lie, my NCAA redesign project is completely failing.
Hey, you should redesign Utah State because that's all I want from
Okay,
you, Perrin.
I hate to say
see
it,
what you
the
come up with.
uniforms are pretty good already. I like them. They don't need much.
I know where well, dude,
I can't.
no,
I can't think of.
like
I don't know what to do. They're pretty good. Let me look at them again just to double check. Okay, I don't like the all black alternate. That sucks. That's awful. But the striping is very good. Very good. I like the sandy gray color too. Very nice. Anyway, I think the word marks are too big. That's like the only thing I can think of.
yeah, see, you can redesign
That's
this.
fair. I suppose so. Perhaps the font could use some work. But, like, it's little nitpicks. Maybe make the stripes a little bigger. But, again, it's nitpicks. Small tweaks. Oh, in general, I don't like word marks on the pants. It feels a little too Bush League for my taste.
Yeah.
But, again, nitpicks. Don't care too much. Small tweaks. Baby steps. Anyway.
I think we're just getting smaller and smaller there, just like. Oh dear.
Anyway, in other sports uniform news, the the Denver Broncos are going to change their uniforms eventually, like in the not too distant future. And I know this because they released a survey to season ticket holders. I don't know if it was just season ticket holders. It might have been just Broncos fans in general. Not sure. Might have been like on their email list. Not sure exactly. But they sent out a survey talking about, hey, we're going to redesign our uniforms and we want to hear feedback about what you guys like about our current uniforms and what our uniforms in the past, and like which era do you think was the best?
Did I just lose connection?
Huh? No, you're good.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
for a
okay.
second. Sorry.
You're good. So they're getting feedback about which uniform era fans like the best, what colors they like the best, because they've had a handful of color schemes in their time. Whether they prefer like mix of modern and traditional, go back to like throwbacks, or do something more modern than what they have now. And this sounds, as a uniform nerd myself, this is good news because it means that the Broncos care about making uniforms that their fans will like. And it means that makes them less likely to go for like over-designed, hyper-modern Nike garbage, like the Commanders or the Rams or the Falcons or Titans. Bunch of teams have awful uniforms. So, very good.
That's a good meme there.
High
Just for
quality.
anyone that, obviously, because you guys can't see it, but Ethan's just sent a photo of just like the Spider-Man meme of all of us pointing at each other, trying to sue each other. So
Very cool.
that's good.
High
We
quality
need to
image.
send that. Actually, I'm gonna post that.
Post
to
that in
my
the
server.
announcements,
Just
yes.
Post it in announcements. Yeah.
Very cool. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited. Man,
Here we go.
Ethan
I'm
is just
posting it.
okay.
Here we go.
You guys also can't see this, but Ethan had just posted a meme that's the Bernie Sanders. I am once again asking for blank. He said it's me saying I am once again asking to change you change your uniform design.
Nice.
Ethan is just speed
I just
running
posted
memes.
that
He's
as
pumping them out like a factory over here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dude,
I am.
This is what I do during work.
Very important work. Very
Very
important
important.
business going on here.
Very good. All right. Anyway,
Very good.
I am excited that the Broncos are like actually putting care into their uniform design. I am cautiously optimistic to see what they come up with. I hope they return to a lighter shade of blue than navy, just because navy's overused in the NFL and in sports in general, I think. They used a really weird like shade that's between powder blue and royal blue. It was kind of really weird, but it was really nice. And like back in like the 70s through 90s. I don't know if I want them to bring it back, but they should definitely bring back a lighter shade closer to royal blue, I think. Because that's a more unique color scheme in the NFL. But yeah, that's the uniform update. As far as I know, I can't think of anything else that's happened yet.
Yeah, I'm also going to stop you now because we don't want this going on for 10 minutes
Yes,
again, like
fair
last
enough.
episode. So I think we shall move on to the music section, and I'll let you start, Perrin, because I need to think of something else, because I talked about my first pick for far too long now, and we're already about an hour in, so...
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about, first up, Hosier. I'm a huge Hosier fan, just because I really like more chill, down-to-earth. Like, he's got a mix of, like, blues-style rock and roll guitar. I'm not like rock and roll, but, like, kind of rock and roll blues adjacent, I would say. It's hard, but I'm bad at describing music genres. But he's got a lot of really good stuff. His lyric writing is amazing, like legitimately poetic stuff. It makes me cry. A lot of nature imagery, very, very good. Very good, like a lot of love songs, a lot of fancy nature imagery, very high quality. Amazing. Some of my favorite songs ever. or by Hosier. Also, Mr. Wives, which is a bit poppier. It's like, I think it's a little 80s inspired. Very good. Their most recent album is called Super Bloom. Really like it. Very good.
Uh-huh.
A lot of good stuff in there.
Also, Ethan, you're going off right now. You just posted 4 memes in the span of like
5 minutes.
like
3
5
minutes.
minutes. He is actually a meme
he is
factory
a
at
meme
this point. This is
factory.
amazing. This is amazing.
Bold of you to
We're gonna have to
assume.
share.
Bold of you to assume I've ever been in bed with another woman.
Oh. Okay, I need to compose myself. Okay.
Self-deprecating humor always works.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'll move on to my music choice. I've now decided to move mine a little bit to a different album I won't talk about for as long, and it's In Rainbows by Radiohead. It was released in 2007, and I feel like it's the most accessible album they've done, because a lot of their music up in like from 2000 to like 2007 was strange. Like, it's good, but it's got a very experimental edge to it, which I can get a lot of people wouldn't like it. So I feel like In Rainbows was a good combination of a lot of what they were doing before, and also making it a lot more accessible and just kind of, you know, easier for someone just to jump into. So I'd say the whole album is just absolute fire, like front to back, but top tracks for me would be Nude, Weird Fishes / Arpeggi, All I Need, and Reckoner and Videotape. They're all very good tracks. So if you want to try and get into Radiohead or just find that interesting, then give that a listen. Also, how many memes are you making? Like, how do you
Is
do
there
this so
more?
quickly, by the
Oh
way?
man! Oh wow!
There's more. There's already more. There's 2 memes just being like sent in like the same minute.
I'm not that hung up about colors. I'm not that hung up. I don't care. I don't care that much. I mean,
It's funny.
I love the SpongeBob one. Like,
Yeah, that
every
was
team
good.
after parent critiques
yeah,
them.
it's
All
not
right,
like
I'm
the
ahead
NFL
out.
is gonna listen to me. The NFL doesn't.
Maybe
have
they
any
are. Maybe they're
taste.
listening.
No, they're not.
Well, actually,
if
we
they
haven't
are
done our.
listening, Roger Goodell will probably find me and suspend me for
Yeah.
the entire season for doing nothing. That's a
Yeah.
joke. Do not sue me.
We haven't done our call out to a random celebrity yet.
Oh,
So
hey.
the guy who runs the NFL,
At Roger Goodell.
call Perrin up.
Don't. Well, only call me up if you want to give me a job. Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. That's a good one. I like that
Yes. We're gonna have to like somehow. That's the thing with the podcast. We
Yeah.
can't show people what we're seeing, but we need to like
Yeah.
just send them
It's
all
the-
to like, the chat
It's the
afterwards.
Uno one where it's a custom card prompt and it's do X or draw 25, and the prompt is change uniform design or draw 25, and the NFL team it's NFL teams holding basically the entire deck of Uno cards.
We're turning into screen readers here, man.
Yes. Hey, one of my classes at school is basically all about describing the arts we're talking about in words, so I'm getting very good at this.
I see.
Yeah.
How would you describe my logo then? That's on my Discord
It is
profile.
a bunch of segmented rectangles formed into the shape of a lowercase d.
Huh, that worked pretty well. I say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's actually quite accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should like reconsider the
Yeah.
design thing and just become like a professional screen
I should be
reader or
like a
something.
writer. Maybe I could be a writer.
What? How would you describe my logo?
It is a round lowercase e tilted slightly up on a blue, red, and green background.
Ooh, that's again that's quite good. That's accurate. Like, if you don't know what that logo looks like, you
probably
kind of have a good
imagine
idea
it.
now, I'd say. And how would you describe your photo?
It is a picture of Feathers McGraw, the penguin from Wallace and Gromit, admiring himself in a hand mirror.
Oh, that is good. That is good. Are you sure you're not just like an AI at this point? You're just like Alexa.
I'm not sure. I have not done a CAPTCHA in a long time. You should see.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ask me something only a robot would
What
know.
Uh,
what are 2 teams that you redesigned logos for
Logos for?
or uniforms for?
Uniforms for. I have done the all the AFC NFL or NCAA.
Either.
Patriots, Bills, excuse me, Jets, Dolphins, Falcons, Titans, Texans, Jaguars, Giants. I think I did the Eagles, but I
And
forgot
then
to
what was
post
one
it.
that you were? What was one that you were going to do but you gave up on?
Cardinals and Ravens. I had a couple ideas for it, didn't work out. I might revisit them.
all right, I think we got the real pair in here.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right, I think he's real.
Okay.
We're fine.
Cool. Nice.
It's not an AI. Actually, I do have a story, actually. So I was at work, and I took a phone call from Google, right? I do. It's actually really. It freaked me out for a while. So this is like last Monday. I got a call, and I picked it up, and there it's from Google, and they're asking to check the like address of one of the stores that the company I work for owns, and I'm like, okay. And the person on the phone seemed really like convincing. Like, oh, it sounds like an ordinary American like person, you know. So I'm like, okay. I put him on hold, and I go to one of the guys at my office to make sure I've got the right address and so on. They know what's going on. I go back and I take them off of hold, and then they repeat the first thing they said to me when I picked up the phone, and I just realized that is an automated call. That was
wow.
an AI talking to me. I did not realize. I genuinely thought I was talking to a real person, because when I asked it questions, it answered them like a real person would. Like, it had
Wow.
personalized answers, and that it freaked me out. It was
insane.
like, it even did like the ums and uhs and everything. Like,
Yikes.
it did pauses. Like it was.
It was like pre-recorded by a person, right? But it was automated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically it's like, the Google Assistant, how it can like say all, it can basically say anything, but obviously
Yeah.
it just takes splices of stuff that's been recorded. That's what it was like, but it was done so naturally that I didn't think about it. 'Cause I wasn't fully listening. 'Cause at the start of the call, they said this is automated, but I didn't hear that because I wasn't paying full attention. Like, I was
Yeah.
more listening to something else in the background, and then I didn't realize until I picked up the phone again and took them off hold, and they said it again, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm talking to an AI, and I didn't realize. So that freaked me out for a while. That was living rent free in my head for a little while.
The future is already here.
Yeah, we're already getting replaced.
future
Maybe
is
I'm an
coming
AI.
fast.
You never know.
I'm trying to think of a question I should ask Sean to prove that he's not an AI. Ooh.
How about? Let's see. If you're not an AI, or this will prove, okay? Get me free money on Amazon. It's Black Friday. Go ahead. Get me some money.
I'm gonna need you, Sean. I'm gonna need you to drive to your local Target and pick up gift cards and then send me the codes.
Slight issue. I'm in the UK and there isn't a Target.
They don't have
so
Target in
we
the
don't have it.
UK.
Oh,
No, we don't have Target.
Yeah, I would have assumed it was.
that's fine.
international.
So-
That's fine.
There you go.
I'll have you drive to your local Walmart.
We don't have Walmart.
Tesco. You have Costco?
That's
Costco.
Tesco's
I
real.
don't think Costco has gift cards.
Do you have Costco?
We have Costco.
Costco's great.
Ooh, okay. I'll have you drive.
Costco, I will
to-
let you
let's
sue
see,
me just because it's Costco.
your-
Nice.
If I'm gonna be sued
Actually-
by anyone, I'd want it to be Costco. Although I wouldn't want to disrespect Costco enough to warrant a lawsuit.
Funnily enough, I actually went to Costco this week.
Very
so
cool. Oh yeah, because
Funnily
you're
enough.
talking about the massive Toblerones they have.
yeah, there was this huge Toblerone that was like, I think it was £54 after
Wow.
that, and it was like, that's a fair bit.
In
of
weight or in price?
price.
Okay.
I mean, like
That,
British sterling.
Wouldn't be some,
GDP.
Wouldn't that be something if it was
Oh,
a
yeah,
54
guys,
pound
I do have a question.
like weight?
You're asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
We use mostly. I think we mostly use kilograms.
Yeah.
We don't really
right?
use pounds as a weight. We use
Wait,
it
so
as just.
Sean and Perrin.
Yeah.
You guys, right? Do you guys? You guys have Costco's in your area, right?
Yeah.
Well, my nearest one is Edinburgh, so that's like the other side of
we-
Scotland.
Yeah.
Like Costco just finished building a location in my area, right? Is it worth it going into?
I would. I mean,
Yeah.
Is it worth getting a membership for?
I
it?
would say so. Just because you can buy everything in
Yeah.
bulk and a membership's really affordable. I don't have one for myself because again I'm poor and I don't need to buy groceries because I have a meal plan at the moment. But like, it was very much a good investment for my parents feeding me and my 4 siblings to go to Costco and buy everything in bulk.
The
Because you kind of
Yeah.
need to buy
The
everything in bulk
$1.50
when you're
hot
feeding
dogs.
7 people.
True.
yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I definitely recommend Costco. It's a really good place.
too.
I'd say, especially if you're looking to buy stuff in bulk. It's a good
Yes.
place to go.
Also, the free samples are always great.
Yeah, you get free
You
samples.
don't even
so
need
that
to buy.
also-
You barely even need to buy lunch if you go to Costco between the hours of 11 and 2.
Yeah, pretty much. You can just survive in
Seriously.
Costco.
Yeah.
Like you can probably survive. You
There's,
can
like-
survive on the samples.
There's a book that's about 2 kids that like have to live in a museum. Like I think they're orphans and they just like live in the museum. I've always wondered about like if I could do that, but if I had to choose a place, I'd choose Costco. You know, if I had to choose a building to get stranded in with for the rest of my life and like have to live in the walls, I would choose a Costco.
Just any Costco.
Any Costco.
Any Costco?
See-
I mean, preferably one that's in the U.S., an English-speaking country, preferably.
Yeah.
So like Perrin.
Yeah.
How much different is Costco than Sam's Club? Because we've had a Sam's Club.
Sam's Club's.
but
I think Sam's Club's owned by Walmart, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Pretty sure Costco's generally higher quality products, as far as I can tell. About the same price. Might be cheaper actually.
okay.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to Sam's Club, but I have not heard very many good things about Sam's Club, and I've heard amazing things. I've heard nothing but praise for Costco, and also I have nothing but respect for Costco. You know that quote about the Costco CEO about the hot dog? You know, Costco has hot dogs for like $1.99.
Yeah, $1.50.
$1.50. That's
Yeah.
right. It's insane. And the Costco CEO is quoted as saying, "If you change the price of the hot dog, I will effing kill you." It's insane. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Shout out to Costco.
That place. Yeah, and what's even better, the Costco in Edinburgh, the one I go to, it's got an IKEA next door. So what I can do is, if I can go into Costco, get all my meals, and then go to
There's only,
IKEA to like have a sleep.
There's only like one IKEA in all of Massachusetts, and it's very disappointing because it's like pretty out of the way from all of the places I've ever lived. Just disappointing. But like it's worth it to like make the trip down to IKEA just to go to IKEA.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to the. I mean, maybe it was once, but I was like really young. I have not been to IKEA in a long time. I want to
I've
go back
been,
just to
I think-
feel something.
I've not felt anything since I've not been at IKEA.
I wanted Jungelskog. You know Jungelskog, the giant IKEA bear with the small head. Love that. one.
Yeah.
IKEA's great.
IKEA is great. Yeah.
Man. Shout out to
But
IKEA and
it's a
Costco,
great-
specifically.
Costco and IKEA, they're goated.
The only two
Yo, the
stores you need.
closest IKEA store to me. Oh, holy crap!
Don't dox yourself accidentally.
Dude, you already know
I mean, I know you live in Utah.
Yeah, so
that's it.
here's Ethan's address.
Dude, there's the closest IKEA to me is like 2 hours away.
I mean, that narrows it down.
That sucks.
Mine's even further away. It's like 3
Yeah,
hours.
my address is 308 Negra Arroyo Lane.
My name's
Albuquerque,
Walter
New
White, and
Jonko. Let's see. IKEA way. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Oh dear. Have you got any music, Ethan? As I'll try
yeah,
and
this was
I'll
the
try and bring
music
this back
section.
on topic.
I thought this
Yeah.
was the supermarket
Ooh.
section.
Yeah. So do you have any ideas, Ethan, or am I
Yeah,
put you on
let
the
me-
spot?
Let me pull up my pull up my music, and then I can just tell you.
You could talk about your own
what I've listened
music.
to recently.
You could chill it. You could chill your own music.
There's no shame in self-advertising.
I
Unless you do it on my profile.
could, but like I haven't. I haven't really been like making my own music other than like I guess I with like that vocal channel that I made, right? It has gone up in subs and I've been pushing out more vocals.
That's cool.
With some of them I made. I actually threw the vocals over songs by the Piano Guys.
Ooh. A couple of their songs
Huh.
have vocals in them, though. A few of them.
Yeah, but I did like I did like "Someone to You" by Banners, and then
Ah.
like "Shape of You," or like "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran.
We
It's
don't we don't say his
they
name on this
match
podcast.
Really well. What?
We do not speak of Ed Sheeran on this podcast.
Hey, I have red hair. Get used to it. Ooh. I guess I did find one song that was pretty cool. You've all heard "Levitating" by Dua Lipa, right?
Yeah.
Can't tell if I hate it or am okay with it. It flip-flops every single time I
Cool.
hear it.
So I found a version of it that slaps. It slaps, and I'll send it to you. But what this
Very
guy
cool.
did is he put the lyrics right at 9 seconds off, and it makes the song sound so much better,
Interesting.
Oh, I think I've heard this. Yeah.
like so much better. And I'm like, holy crap! Why was that not the original?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. It's quite impressive though how someone figured that out though.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
I imagine
Yeah.
you like stumble upon that, like going through the audio, like fiddling around with the audio file of it or something, like in a music
Yeah.
software, just goofing around. But
probably.
still, that's impressive to like find something
That
like
is
that. That's like
impressive.
legitimately like changing one small thing, and it makes the entire song better. That's really interesting.
Oh yeah. If you haven't heard that, go listen.
I
to
will.
it after the podcast. It's
Definitely
like,
will. Yes.
Yowza.
Yeah. All right. Nice. So I think we're over an hour already. So
Yeah.
big thumbs up for that. Let's go.
Very cool.
I think we'll just start. I think we shall start wrapping up. So we'll reintroduce ourselves. My name is Sean.
I'm Perrin.
And I am Ethan, your totally not late host.
Yeah, he was here the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so silent you couldn't even hear me.
He may be tardy, but he's not foolhardy.
Yeah. You know, the Ethan was the friends we made along the way anyway.
Yes. Definitely.
I should also remind people to join the server,
Yes.
Micah specifically, as that is where we discuss the podcast and its future episodes. And you can also ask if you'd like to be a guest as well. We can look into that. Is there anything you guys want to shill before we finish up?
I think just IKEA and Costco.
Yeah, go to IKEA and Costco.
Yeah.
I guess I can say, join my Discord server, invite.vocalstudio.org.
Oh, that's how we're going to play it? Fine, I'm going to show my server now. Join my server, Taz Hangout. I need to get the link for it, 'cause it's super long.
Yeah.
It's so nice having custom links, bro.
Yeah, discord.gg/FQV4UBGJPP. There you go. And that's my server. Anyway,
Very cool.
yeah. The next episode, hopefully Micah will be back. We'll see. Who knows? We'll just have to see what happens. Hopefully, but yeah, thank you very.
Yeah, and if Micah isn't back, hey, we will have our guest, which quickly seems like he's just becoming another host, Perrin, joining us
Probably.
again.
Yeah.
I'll probably be back.
So I know
It's a
I know we
ploy
said
to
you're
keep-
going to replace.
It's a ploy to keep our listeners invested in the podcast because they don't know who's going to host next.
Yeah, you need to like tune in to find out who it's going to be.
Yeah.
That was a very evil,
That was a
like
very
super
good
villain
evil
laugh there.
Well done.
You're welcome. May I say?
You should.
There's a clap for that. But yeah, I know we said in the last episode, Perrin, that you were on that you were going to replace Ethan, but maybe you're replacing
Yeah.
Micah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll replace all of you one day. We'll see.
Oh,
I'll start my own
I'll
podcast.
get
I'll
rid-
be the only host. That's a joke.
what are you going to call it?
I don't know.
That's a great podcast name.
Parents.
I don't know by
Podcast
Perrin.
Palooza. I
Parents,
suppose.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. The podcast.
Yeah. Oh dear. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say, I think we should now wrap up. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Farewell.